Tactics have come a long way in Football Manager. Nowadays, you're able to manipulate your settings down to the finest of details to affect your team's performance on the pitch, which is far from the days of sliders and arrows. Football Manager 23 can be a tricky experience when it comes to finding the right tactic though, as in previous years you always had the cheesy 4-2-3-1 Gegenpress to fall back on, whereas now you need to explore different options. This video will give you the best tactics for Football Manager 23 across a wide range of playstyles, including defensive, attacking, possession, and directness. Okay, so the first one we're going to look at is the defensive playstyle. Now, Football Manager 23 promised that defensive formations are going to be more viable this year. So if you're looking to soak up a lot of pressure and hit teams on the counter-attack, then these are the formations that you might want to try. First, we have the 4-3-3 DM wide, which is a very popular choice for FM players wanting to play more defensive, as it gives you a central defensive midfielder that sits right in front of the back four, providing a lot more security. You also have the outlet options of the two wingers out wide, so as soon as you win that ball back, you can find them down the line. What I will say with this formation is that if you're playing one striker up top on their own, and they're not an elite level target man, then you might not be scoring a ton of goals. So if that's the case and you're happy risking being a little bit less defensively solid for a bit more attacking output, then go ahead and change to a two-striker formation. A few good ones you can use are 4-4-2, 3-5-2 and 4-1-3-2. In terms of instructions, for the mentality, having it as defensive will naturally make your backline sit a little bit deeper and make players a little bit more reserved when going into challenges. This is going to stop you from conceding quite a lot, but it's also going to limit what you can do going forward. Also, to offset the defensive mentality, you can add in attacking and support roles on your forward players. This means that as soon as you win the ball back and start breaking, these players are going to be sprinting forward looking for a chance to create. Also, I just want to clear up that if you put defend roles on your players, it doesn't make them defend better, it just makes them play more passive. So what it really means is that as soon as you lose the ball and you're facing an attack, these players are going to be in position more often than not. When looking for players to play in this formation, you need to be careful with who you're putting in your front line. If you want to play a more direct style of counter-attacking football, then you need to have a target man who has good jumping reach, good strength, and good heading. It's also important that they have a decent finishing stat as well, as this man will be scoring the majority of your goals. If a chance falls to him in the box, you need to know that he's going to score it more times than not. Then as for the wingers, they need to be pacey with some decent dribbling stats and good crossing. I'd say overall the best attributes to look for in players for this formation are marking, anticipation, concentration, positioning, and teamwork. These attributes in particular are really important for players in this formation, because if you're sitting back and being patient when the other team is attacking, you need to be able to anticipate what they're going to do. But also you need good teamwork so that you can hold your shape well when under a lot of pressure. For defenders, they basically just need to be good in the air and physically strong, as their pace won't matter too much seeing as we're sitting so deep. In terms of more possession-based formations, you'll want four midfielders in the middle of the park to control the game. So some good ones I'd suggest are 4-4-2 Diamond, 4-1-3-2 and 4-3-1-2. When looking at a possession-based playstyle, a lot of people think it's going to be quite attacking, but it's actually more of a balanced approach. The idea is to pass the ball around your own players to try and lure the opposition players out of position. Then as soon as that happens, you shift the tempo up and attack the space. Then once you have your goal, you bring the tempo right back down and control the game once again. For this formation to work, you're going to need an attacking playmaker who can provide the chances that you need. When looking at their personal instructions, you might want to add some stuff like take more risks or roam from positions so you can ensure that they're being as creative as possible. What you should be doing with this formation as well is changing some of your midfielders to have attacking roles so they can overlap with some of the supporting forward players. For example, if I set Iheanacho to support and Maddison to attack, that's going to allow Kelechi to bring some of the other team's players out of position, and then Maddison will be able to go past him and attack the space. As a general rule of thumb in a possession-based playstyle, you want to look for first touch, passing, and technique as the general technical attributes that you need. Then for the mental ones, you'll want to look at anticipation, composure, concentration, decisions, teamwork, off the ball, and vision. If the majority of your players have decent ratings in all of those statistics, then the team will gel perfectly well and the possession style will work. Now onto the best attacking tactics. In terms of formations, you want to look at 4-3-2-1, 4-4-2 and 4-2-4 for a more direct attacking approach, and then 4-3-3 or 4-3-1-2 for a shorter passing game. Playing an attacking style really allows you to experiment with the wide range of attacking roles available in the game, such as trequaristas, registas, segundo volantes, and complete forwards. All of these are good and they do have their uses, but make sure that you have the caliber of player required to fulfill that role, as they are quite risky. So if you do play with a slightly more risky playstyle, then try to balance it out with a few more defensive roles in the team. You can also do this by telling other players to take less risks and dribble less. In an attacking playstyle, you'll want to move your defensive line up a little bit so that you're winning the ball higher up the pitch. This is going to make your team create a lot more chances because they're winning the ball back in such a good position from the off. But it's going to leave a huge gap behind your defensive line, so it's very important that all of your defenders have an element of pace to them. If you want to play this quick build-up and short passing style of attack, then you need to look for players with a good first touch, passing, and technique. It also helps if these players have a little bit of flair about them as well, as it will help them out in those tighter situations. Then in terms of their mental attributes, you should be looking at anticipation, composure, concentration, decisions, off the ball, teamwork, and vision. If you're going to play with such a high defensive line, your midfielders need to be able to win the balls, so make sure to look for aggression, tackling, marking, bravery, determination, work rate, and stamina. Ideally, you'll want all 4 of your centre mids to have this skill set, but of course, if you've got someone who's a bit more defensive minded or someone who's a bit more attacking minded, then it should even out overall. Then in terms of defenders, they need to be athletic due to the high defensive line, so prioritise acceleration, agility, and pace. Then for the mental attributes, go for anticipation, composure, concentration, decisions, positioning, and teamwork. If this video helped you find a tactic for Football Manager 23, then you should check out the other tutorial video on screen now.